So, here we are this morning. I'm being joined by one of the superstars from Protege. Probably doesn't like me using that word, but I know the real truth behind things. There are some people who just fly out of the gates. There are some folks who make it look, and I'll make sure we get into this, they make it look as if it's easy. It's not, and I'll make sure I definitely pin the man down on that because it's good to find out. But Laurie, Duncan, good morning to you, sir. How are you?
Awesome.
Brilliant. So I mentioned the words property protege. I managed to see you when you were on the course. I also had the pleasure of involving you in a podcast recorded straight after it as well. But keep us right. When was that you took part? When was your course?
The course was end of January.
The end of January this year. So we're only into April. We're already doing crazy things. Absolutely brilliant. Just to kind of touch upon the foundations and stuff, where were you before the course? Because you had already dipped your feet into the world of property and stuff, hadn't you?
Yeah, I had. I've always had buy-to-lets, but only ever had a few of them. And, I kind of got involved in it basically just by chance because there was a house across the road from me when I bought my first house to live in. This house had remained on the market. It had been on the market for about a year, and then it was still on the market 6 months after I moved into my house. And that was how I ended up getting involved. I went across the road, chapped the door, made a silly offer. They told me to piss off. Came back 6 months later, told me they wanted to do the deal, and that was it. Bought the first one. A couple of years later, refinanced, bought another one. A couple of years later, refinanced and bought the third. But, we only ever had the three. And we didn't do anything really interesting on it. We basically just bought them, rented them out, waited for a couple of years for the gain to go up, and then refinanced. So, yeah, I've always had the buy-to-lets, but really it was nothing kind of just very basic.
Just dabbling, just playing in that world scale. And what was the career like in the ordinary world, in the 95 world? What were you up to then?
Oh, back then I was working as a sales manager for an Italian manufacturing company, but they had a stockholding facility in Grangemouth where I worked. So I was the sales manager for the office in Grangemouth. Back then, I actually still work for the same company, but I work from home now, and I cover Scandinavia rather than the UK. So it was always a kind of office-based job back then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. That's good to understand the kind of starting points and pictures. Now, I want to dive into some of the stuff you're doing, some of the stuff you've achieved, because it's a great service to other people. Because there'll be other people on that went through property protege just like yourself, and maybe wanting to think about a certain strategy or a tactic, and want to know what's going on. And when you can see other people around you in your group, in your tribe, that are doing things, it's brilliant because it's motivating, it's encouraging, it's inspiring, and it's even educational because you actually, wait a minute, the guys at the course, they spoke about that thing, but I wasn't sure. But there's a person, there's a real person. I maybe even met him on the course, and he's doing that thing. That's awesome. So it can actually be educational as well because you can learn from other people around you. So it's brilliant to do. But before we jump into the nitty-gritties and we'll talk about some of the stuff you're involved in, what's the why? Why did Laurie Duncan go in the property protege course? Why is he doing what he's doing? Why is he getting up early and having an interview and stuff? What's behind your journey?
Do you know? I don't know. I've always wanted more, I've always wanted to work for myself. I've always wanted to be kind of financially free. I've always been kind of quite driven and quite kind of different from other people. It kind of seemed, I would do stupid things like, I don't know, work late and get up early and all this kind of stuff, But I think more recently, like, I'm in this job now where I'm having to travel about quite a lot, and I didn't really realise how much I loved home until like within the last couple of years when I was, I'm taking 2 flights, I'm away all week and I'm getting back, having a weekend with Emma and, and then I'm away again. And, it just really started to get to a point where it was like, I need to change this. There's more to life than this, we get married this year and I want like this family life at home. And, there's just no way I would have that. And I suppose I was just quite concerned that if I was away so much, I would miss out on so much. And I think that's probably what's driven me for the change. I've always wanted to be successful. I've always really wanted to be a millionaire, you know, but I've never kind of understood how I could potentially get there, you know. And recently, like again, within the last couple of years, when I've had this job change and stuff, and started thinking more about the property stuff, it just became so clear that, like, you know, I'm never going to do as well as I can while I'm working for someone else. And you know, really, if I rather than me working on tasks for someone else all day, if I just work on tasks for me all day, then why can I not develop something, you know? So really, definitely the family life thing, I definitely want that. I want to be home and I want to have more control over my life. But second of all, I want a lot more money. I want a hell of a lot more money, you know. And I've been listening to these audiobooks and podcasts and everything, as you know, and just the way that the guys talk about philanthropy and stuff like this, you know, I love it, you know. And that now is like really where I want to get to, you know. And I've started doing it as well, you know, just helping people out, you know, charity donations or whatever, helping friends out and stuff like this. And it's so true, you know. I've never really experienced that before, but the way it kind of makes you feel, it kind of gives you like a different kind of outlook on life, you know. And I just like to kind of give people opportunities and help people out and stuff. And well, if I can make more money through property, then I can help more people by giving more back, you know. So a lot of different things going on there that's driving me now.
That's fantastic. That's great to hear. It speaks volumes about the kind of guy you are. It does change your whole view of the world. So, wait a minute, that actually helped that person there, and this is great. Yeah. I'm over here and I'm busy and I'm fun and I'm enjoying things and it's interesting. And then I can come back and I've also designed my lifestyle, designed my home and stuff the way that I want, and my hours the way that I want. And then now I can do contributions here and contributions there. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. You touched upon podcasts, audiobooks, etc. So has your whole kind of mental environment shifted as well?
Honestly, I mean, you know, I go back to, it was the Jumpstart Live event in November. That was my first kind of experience with coming along and listening to anything that Paul and Billy and yourself, you know, had to say. You know, that was the first experience. And after that, you know, I actually read one book when I was like 10 and I was forced to read it, and it was Light on Demaya, right? And I don't know why I had to read it, but it was something to do with school. And I've never been able to enjoy reading for whatever reason. I've never been able to enjoy it, you know. And after the Jumpstart event, I'd started listening to these audio. I didn't even realise, you know, the podcast. Never listened to a podcast. Never listened to an audiobook. Nothing like that. And I started listening to the podcast literally from like November to like early January. I was doing nothing but listening to all these podcasts because I'd never listened to any of them. You know, I had this massive backlog. So that got me kicked off into these audiobooks and things. And now, literally, you know, I've got one of these wee gadgets, you know, for your ear, you know. So whether I'm making my breakfast, I'm making my lunch, I'm walking the dog, I'm in the gym, you know, whatever it is I'm doing, I'm constantly listening to this stuff. And that has completely changed my whole outlook on so many different levels. It's just incredible. So many awesome, whether it's a book or the podcast. I mean, the podcasts are free. I can't understand why people wouldn't listen to all the stuff that's on there. You know, you could probably go and set up a business on your own, just listening to these podcasts. You know, you could, but I mean, the fact that you know, the course and the content and all the Jumpstart study stuff and the videos. There's just so much stuff, and it's made a massive difference for me. And you know, ultimately now, I'm putting things into practice, and yeah, it seems to be going all right. You know. So.
That's brilliant. That's great to hear. Yeah, I found that myself. I must admit, it was many years ago when I made that kind of mental shift about, okay, so what people are you going to be talking to, and what people are you going to spend most time with, and what are you going to put in your brain, you know? Is it EastEnders and Big Brother, or is it...
You know, that is one thing, you know, I used to watch TV every single night, you know, and I would even sometimes be like 5 o'clock at night and stuff, and I would just go and sit and I would chill and I would just watch TV. Now, like, I literally never watch TV. I moved the TV out the kitchen where I used to have one, and even watching the news. I've stopped watching the news. Used to watch that every morning, afternoon, night, you know. Just completely changed. But again, that's just through listening to all the different things and taking on advice that people tell you through these audio things, whether it's podcasts or books, you know. But Never watch TV at all anymore. Just different mindset.
Yeah, exactly, a different mindset. Yeah, news is the biggest one. In fact, if I had to think back, that probably was the first hurdle I jumped over, because I was the same. I think you need to keep involved, you need to keep informed and check out what's happening here. No, you don't, and you also realise that it's just a business. It's just people, trying to pull you in and get viewership, and if it's on a channel that's got adverts in it, then that's how they're making their money, and clickbait online and what have you. So, if you want to be a customer in that business, or you want to actually just do your own stuff. So, big mindset shift. So, all of that, doing training, doing education, changing our environment, getting things into our head that's going to make us think differently. The hope is that then leads to actual practical results. And you're definitely a man that's been proving that. It's been so much fun reading your weekly reports and stuff. It's tremendous. Yeah. So, let's jump into some of the stuff. So when we speak about property in a very, 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 very simplified terms, looking for deals and stuff, we usually say box number 1, find the money. And there's tons of ways that can happen. Box number 2, find the deals. And there's tons of ways that can happen. So box number 1, find the money. So rather than being the guy who's loaded and you were just showered upon with an inheritance from super rich granny in Australia, no. You take out and you've found and you're working with investors and stuff. What's been going on there?
Well, I kind of got to a point about a month ago where I felt like I was at a point and I wasn't sure how to kind of progress things further, because I'd organised all the media stuff, the paper stuff with the distribution and all that kind of thing. And I organise my day currently by Microsoft Outlook reminders. They seem to just pile up. And then kind of after all the tasks go, they go down and down, and I got to that point where I never had a lot of reminders, and I was like, this is bizarre. I'm not focused on something. I'm not doing enough to kind of put this all together, So I just made a point of I was just thinking like, okay, what do I need to do next? And for me, it was just like networking, So about a month ago, I just started going out and about, speaking to loads of people and doing effectively the financial presentation stuff, just sharing my vision with people, letting them know about what I was doing and how they could get involved. I joined a networking group called BNI, and now I'm a member there in Grangemouth, so I'm the local property guy. I've met some really good people through that. I just started networking, talking about what I was doing, and to be honest, I was quite surprised. People are really interested, and there's a lot of people with a lot of cash and a lot of different ideas about what they want, and some folk want to be more involved, some folk less, But I've probably got, I've created, because all my documentation, I created like a mail merge file so that it just rips data from the different spreadsheets, whether it's for sellers or the investors. But I've now got a database of investors, maybe only about 10 or something like that. But and even this week I've been having other phone calls and discussions. I've got another meeting at 9 o'clock this morning with another one. And I think just going out and about, talking to people, letting them know, and the interest seems to come. And then all you need to do is then bring the deal. If you find the deals and the deal's attractive, somebody's going to buy it. I just got out and networked, I've just different events, and that's what's led me to these kind of 10 or so investors. So
and you've been telling me about one of the guys from the networking group as you spoke about, and another guy from a sauna, from chatting in a sauna.
He's actually an accountant that I met with a while ago, maybe 4 years ago or something like that, and I bumped into him in the sauna now and again, and I've just been like telling him about what I'm doing, and it's funny actually, because I've been telling him about what I was doing, but I didn't expect him to be interested. I thought he had his own objectives, and he never ever told me about property every time I was telling him about it, And I went, and I think it was last week, a week today maybe, and I'd had a hell of a day, because it was just one of these days, you've got your major ups and major downs, and it was one of these days where I felt like I was getting nowhere. I was getting all kind of stressed out. It felt, I don't know, it was just a bad day. We all have them. So I thought, right, I'm just going to go in the sauna. I'm just going to chill out. I make a point of doing that every day, actually, just to kind of relax, to switch off. And because I'm working at night and I'm working early in the morning, and it's like you need a couple of hours just to I'd do my workout and chill out and stuff. But anyway, I was having a chat with him, and just telling him I'd had a hell of a day, but it was awesome because there was all these things happening, you know, but I was all stressed out, so I was just in to chill out. And then the next, it was either that night or the next day, he just dropped me an email and said, Laurie, really interested in what you're doing. I want to hear more about all these properties that are coming up to get involved in and buy deals. And I was like, wow, you know, it's like, wasn't even expecting that. Never even thought about that guy. But it just proves the point. You know, if you go out and you share your vision and you're talking about what you're doing, you know, if you're not in the game, how can people get involved? How can people know? And yeah, so now I'm doing a lot of networking in different ways with different people. And yeah, that was a guy in the sauna.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You know, it's great to hear. There was so much stuff in that because yeah, you were talking, you were chatting with no expectations, no desperation.
No.
You're not running about the country asking people for money. You know, give me money, give me money. I'm desperate. No, you've got a vision, you've got a path, you've got a journey, you've got all these skills, all this knowledge and experience. And guess what? You can help other people. And this guy wants your help. This guy's reached back to you, and you weren't even expecting it. I love that. Absolutely love it. And there's deliberate ones we do. I am going to this network meeting for an hour. You know, I am going to have a sit down with this guy who wants to talk about investing. But most of the time, we're just chatting. We're just being social. We're talking, being positive, talking about things in our life, and these connections can appear. It's incredible. But the other important thing you picked up on, and I'm so glad you did admit it, you're human. You've had problems of stress and overwork and thinking you're not getting anywhere. So we can lay that bare, can't we? You're no different from anybody else in that respect. You definitely have bad days and down days and days where you have to push yourself on. Is that fair to say?
I've never had as many like ups and downs as this, you know, and it's interesting because this is like, you know, more stuff that like the podcasts and the audiobooks talk about. They talk about just this kind of roller coaster ride that you're on, and it is difficult sometimes to keep yourself pushing, you know, and that's really what I find the hardest part about all of this is when you kind of like when you are kind of knocked down and you're feeling shabby, you're not getting anywhere. It's like, but then if you just take a step back and then you think, well, let me analyse like the last couple of months. Like you said, you know, we're only in start of April. It was only end of January I did this course, right? And you know, you just take a step back and look at where you've come. This is for everybody. You know, you step back, look at it, and you think, nah, hey, think we're going in the right direction. I just need to keep going. You know, and yeah, that's been crazy, the whole ups and downs things. But ultimately, yeah, you know, I'm at the point now where I've got inquiries, you know, they're coming in, and that's where I've been trying to get to. So now it's just like, well, next stage after that, and hopefully in a month's time I can look back and say I've got a sale.
Yeah, that's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So let's talk about some of the deals and stuff. What's going on in your world? Because you've got a few things you've been chasing, haven't you? And things you've been getting, and you've been getting leads in and stuff through your marketing as well. You've been working on those. What's kind of nitty gritty things can you talk about? Obviously, the things to keep private. With,
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. And just share your story.
Well, the first. So I've had 2 inquiries before I started marketing. Right now, that was just 2 inquiries that folk went online and Googled it or whatever, and you know, found my website, sent me an inquiry. I was actually meant to be buying both of them myself. One was right up north, but it was on with another agent, and he was going to get termination penalties and stuff if he sold it quicker or whatever, you know. But that one up north was valued at 180,000, and I'd agreed to buy it for 100,000. And the only thing I was waiting on, and this is a learning experience because I ended up losing the deal, and this will be a question for the report. But you know, it was on with another agent, and he was saying he was going to get. He was going to have to pay them like 3-4 grand if he terminated the deal or something like that. So we were waiting until this Friday, and I'd got it all teed up, ready to go. If he didn't get a buyer before then, but he's ended up coming in. Somebody else has come in with a cash buy. They've bought the deal, so I've lost that one. But I mean, you know, it could have worked out. It just didn't, and that's cool because you know there's going to be tons more deals. I'm okay with that. The second deal, the second inquiry rather, was only at the end. When was that? middle of March or something like that, maybe end of March actually. And this is a nice wee 3-bed flat valued at 150,000, and I'd agreed a purchase price of 90,000. And again on that one, I was kind of weighing it up, like, should I take this on myself, or should I trade it because it's a decent discount for anybody? Should I take the cash flow, or should I buy the deal myself and try and do some creative refinancing solution that I'm still working on now. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, but no, I decided to buy that myself because, again, the discount was just awesome, and I think it'll rent well. It's beautiful on the coast, stuff, So that was the second inquiry before I even started marketing. So I'm going ahead with the purchase of that property. Since I started marketing, which was only, and I'm only talking about one leaflet drop, I've had 2 inquiries from that one leaflet drop. Now, excuse me, both of them, the first one, something with that, I'm phoning the guy back tomorrow to see about going to do a viewing. It was like, it was his mum, excuse me, that was selling it off. She just wants rid of it and stuff, but I've only taken some basic details. I've not been to see the property. I don't have too much details about that. And then the second inquiry after the mail drop, the leaflet drop, I don't think anything's going to happen with that, but that's been like a couple of leads in the space of a week or two through my leafleting campaign. And then bizarrely, outside of my marketing campaign, because I'm getting connected with all these different people that are talking about deals and all this kind of stuff, bizarrely, this deal came to me last week, and it was, I can't remember, it was a 2-bed cottage valued at 90 grand, and they were just kind of like, right, we're open to offers. So I jumped in, I just replied to this email to the seller saying, okay, I'd be interested to buy it for 40 grand, valued at 90. And they came back and they were like, a couple of days later on the Friday, saying, oh, well, nah, the offer's a bit low, but would maybe take 45. And I was like, still a good deal. But I was like, well, nah, sorry, my numbers don't work. If you want to do a deal, I've got the cash sitting there. And I've not got the cash sitting there, I need to find it or whatever. But I was like, if you want to do a deal, 40 grand's the price, the numbers work, let me know. So just yesterday they came back and said, yeah, fine, we'll take your 40 grand. And I'm like, this is just mental, This is outside of my marketing stuff, just because I'm kind of in the game, And so I've decided to take that on myself. Don't quite know how I'm going to do it yet, but it's one of these things where, you just get involved, throw yourself in, figure it out as you go, and hey, I'm sure it'll be a great learning experience. So yeah, these deals are coming kind of thick and fast now, and I'm now, like, I'm so excited. I've been a bit nervous, I suppose, because this is all new. It's a big leap and what's going to happen, but now I'm just excited because I know that this is just going to continue to develop. The more I'm out there, the more I continue to work and whatever, the more that's going to come out. So yeah, that's the extent of the deals so far.
Fantastic. And some amazing numbers, valued at 180, agreed at 100, valued at 90, trying to buy it for 40, valued at 150, buying for 90. So they exist, the deals are there, the discounts are there. That's brilliant for other people to know, to actually hook in and see that.
For sure.
Amazing. We always get put off by an agent or a home report or a this, that and the other. No.
Yeah. But all of these, just to reiterate, all of these 2 that I'm buying, they're in perfect condition. They've got new roofs, they've got new windows, they've got all of this. I mean, it's just, but that's kind of a disadvantage in some respects as well, because it means that to get my money back isn't going to be as easy. And, I need to think about all of that. But, I'm working with another guy in the finance stuff, and he's quite creative. So we're hoping to come up with some ideas about that. But it goes to show you that even although the property's in mint condition, people are still selling them at these crazy discounts, definitely.
Fantastic. It's great to hear. Let me finish in one of your potentials for your future. I spoke about stuff that is going on, and I don't want to tie up too much of your time. This man is very busy and said enough. But the 3 letters HMO, you're kind of picking away at a potential. Is that correct?
Well, yeah. So I've actually got a meeting with them tomorrow afternoon with the council to try. I was in touch with this girl about maybe December last year, and I ended up kind of parking it because I was just kind of focusing on different stuff, But now that things are starting to pick up on all the other work I've been doing, I thought, right, I need to get back into this and figure it out, because I see my local market as a decent kind of HMO location, but it's different with the licenses and all of this kind of thing. And well, initially I thought, look, I just want to go and meet this girl, have a sit down. She's the one that provides you with the license ultimately, And I thought, well, I can go and just kind of have a cup of coffee and a chat and get to know her a little bit better. Maybe start building that relationship, figure out what they want from me to make sure that I'm compliant. Then, the HMO thing is something that's definitely, if I can make it work, if I can find a way for it all to work, it's definitely going to be profitable, and it's definitely something that would work well, I think, in and around Falkirk. So that's tomorrow. I'll find out more about what's happening with that then, but I'm just kind of starting to get into that a bit more now.
Tremendous. But that's the evidence of how you're now thinking, how your mind is now working. Whereas before, oh God, no, it's closed door. I can't do that. Yeah, there's no possible options here. I love that. It'll be interesting to see how that wee path opens up. If it leads
Just throw yourself out there, that's all I can say. That's all I'm doing. It's just like, I don't know how these things are going to work out. I'm saying I've got these awesome deals, and I'm buying this house for cash that I don't have, and going to see about this HMO thing. It's like, I don't know how this is going to kind of pan out. But see, at the end of the day, if you're not out there and you're not just going for it, then how are you going to find out? So I would say everybody, like I always kind of say, just go for it. Just go for it. Believe in yourself and do whatever you need to do to get to where you want to be.
And when those people are feeling a bit down, feeling a bit trapped, feeling a bit, I'm not getting anywhere, I was okay for a week or so, and now it's quiet, how would you encourage or motivate them there?
Well, I maybe not expecting this answer, but I do a couple of things, and might be a bit weird for a lot of folk, but there's I like to watch these kind of inspirational short clips that you get of videos. There's one Red Bull one that I quite like, called How to Make It Happen, or How You Can Make It Happen, or something like that. And there's the Rocky Balboa thing where he's motivating his son, saying about not how hard you can get hit and stuff, and turn the volume up loud and just stare at this and watch it over, because these kind of things have a big impact on you. They can just make you get that drive back that you're maybe thinking that you've lost. I love that kind of stuff, and also make a point of, for me anyway, the whole kind of going to the gym, the healthy lifestyle, the healthy body, healthy mind, that's a big deal. I make a point of going to the gym like most days, only to work out once every couple of days, but to chill out in the sauna, go for a swim, this type of stuff. And these kind of things like chilling out, getting yourself refocused, and then remotivated, ready to go in the morning. I love all that stuff. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. I'm sure that's going to inspire other people. Laurie, tremendously impressed about everything you're doing. Can't believe the time scales involved. It's just ridiculous. But I know you're going on to bigger and better things. It's absolutely brilliant. But for helping other people, for inspiring and motivating, encouraging, thank you. Thanks very much for your time.
Anytime.